We're gonna talk about jinns and ifrits, but first of all, people don't even know the name ifrit or afrit. That's a very obscure name. Not everyone knows that. People just know jinns. No one knows ifrit or afrit. That's a different story. But they go hand in hand. They're from the same category. In the West, people call demons or devils. They originate from Arabia, basically from the Middle East, thousands of years ago. They're a race of spirits and basically demons that coexist with humans in the physical reality. I'm sure there's some around right now as I'm talking to you. Every time you see someone talking about seeing ghosts or spirits or shadows or monsters that don't make any sense, like demons with horns and just like scary creatures in general, those are what we call jinns and ifrits. The jinns are basically the spirits and ghosts that you can't see. They're invisible to us. We can't see them, but they can see us. They can see us anytime they want. They're everywhere. They're in your house, they're in your room, they're in your bathroom, in your toilet. They're everywhere. Those are the jinns. But we can't see them. Only clairvoyants, psychics, mediums, seers are the only ones who can see them and feel them. So if you're one of those, you can probably either see or feel them. The ifrits or afarit. Afarit is just plural of ifrit. Ifrit is singular. Those are more the category of demons, basically scary looking creatures. Like for example, many times you see Satan depicted as this weird creature that has horns, or just any sort of creature, basically like the centaurs. Those could be also in the category of ifrits or afarits. And afarits are basically physical. They're physical. But they have superpowers. They are stronger than humans, much stronger than humans. They can shapeshift. They can appear as humans, or they can appear as their real form. The jinns, they're invisible, they're like ghosts, but they also have superpowers in terms of they can go through walls, they can move objects if they want to. So each of these categories have their own superpowers. And when I was young, this folklore was popular where I'm from, where I was born. Like you hear always stories of jinns and of afarits, and this ifrit that's quite popular, this old woman who appeared to many people at night time, who had the hoofs instead of legs. She had the hoofs of a sheep and horns, but the upper bodies of an old woman, and it's very scary, and many people claim that they have seen her in remote areas. And it's the folklore. And also, like, you would always hear about jinns everywhere, like this jinn is there, this jinn is there, this person is possessed by a jinn. There's always possession, so they say that the jinn can possess a person, and usually they can possess people who are very weak, people who are depressed, people who are having a lot of problems. And these possessions, they have degrees. It could be like, you can be completely possessed, as in like you even have no control over your body, or you can possess to a certain extent. Like for example, people with bad tempers, or people who get so mad or angry, or sometimes there's people who commit crimes without even knowing what they did. They know what they did, but they kind of like can't control it. It is said that usually they were possessed by the jinns. And even within the jinns and afarits, there's the good ones and the bad ones. Good and bad is just a concept after all. There's the ones who want to kind of make of you a fool and trick you and wants to harm you. And there's the ones who are good, just like humans, just like every creation. There's the good ones, there's the bad ones. Those spirit guides that even people talk about, the spirits guides, could be jinns. because the jinns, like when you delve in the realm of jinns, it could be any form or any spirit. There's many types. It could be the ghosts, your ancestors. It could be your spirit guides that were reduced since birth. It could be the shadows as you see at the corner of your eye. These are all jinns. And there's many of you who care of you and who want to help you, and many who will want to harm you, and especially if you provoke them, or if you just have to work on being strong. You have to work on having a strong mind. You have to work on not being scared, because many of them feed off fear. That's what they feed off, fear. And the more you're fearful, the more you're prone, the more they're going to, the more you're going to attract them probably. So work on like strengthening your soul and your spirit. And the reminder is to how you do that is just by reminding yourself that you are the creator, that you create your own reality, that your mind is the most powerful thing out there, and no one can take that away from you. I personally see these entities, they come to visit me because I have clairvoyance, and I see them in different shapes and form, and it's scary shit. It's scary. It's not pleasant. But with one single word, they disappear. If I don't want them around me, they can disappear right away. All I have to say is that you are not invited, but you say it with firmness because you know it, not because you're scared. They appear in different forms and in different shapes, and many of them look really scary, like the stuff you would see in scary movies. Like I think there was also the misconception in the history that many of these, I would say these are more the ifrits, the ifrits, were kind of, some of them even were depicted as the greys, as the aliens, the greys. So there's kind of a confusion between one of the ifrits were the aliens, were the greys, because they were on Earth thousands of years ago, and the people who met them, they probably thought they were a type of an ifrit, or they were one kind. But I think those are different because those are extraterrestrials. Ifrits and jinns are part of Earth. They were created on Earth. They are Earth beings. It's just they don't live on the same dimension as us. We live on kind of different planes. The only difference is that the advantage they have over us is that they can see us. They can see us. They don't have to they don't have to play with physicality. To them this world, this physical world, is kind of like a toy. They can do with it whatever they want. They can change it, they can mold it, they can transform it. And for us, we struggle with this physical world. But the thing that we have, which most of them don't, but don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that they're not smart, but most humans, but again, it's like in humans too, you find people who are smart and people who aren't, but people who have like excellent and extraordinary minds, same for them. But it is said that most of them, this is just a rumor, I don't know if I believe in it, but it is said that most of them, they're not very clever. They're kind of like kids. That's why they like to play around. That's why they like to trick you. For example, if you trip a lot on the streets, that's probably they're putting some tricks on you. They like to fool people. That's why you see a lot of people in rituals doing weird rituals of sacrifices, of bringing the leg of a chicken and the head of a rat and the tail of a monkey or something. They like to play tricks like that so they can fool the person into believing that they have power over the person. They want to trick you into believing that they have power over you. So you have to know that at the end of the day, you can use the help of spirits if you want, but know that everything is up to you. If you realize how powerful you are, then these entities can't harm you. If anything, they're gonna help you. They're not gonna harm you. They're gonna be at the rescue. They're gonna be there for you. And I highly recommend you not to be scared of how they look like. My friends used to call me weird because I would say that like one thing I was never scared of is ghosts and spirits. Like, I'm not scared of them. It was just funny. The stuff doesn't scare me. My friends a long time ago used to think I'm crazy for saying stuff like that, but it's the truth. It's just the way it is, and they exist, and the only thing we fear is the unknown, and people should not give away their fear, because the second you start giving away, you start fearing things, that's when things start falling apart. So if you get rid of that fear, the tower is going to be reversed. But these things are real and they exist, and a lot of traditions and cultures around the world have mentioned them, and especially the Arabic tradition, and the Muslims, especially people from the Muslim tradition, truly believe in this, because apparently the Quran talks about these things, and the Prophet Muhammad has himself met these types of jinns, and many Arabian authors in the past wrote about them in books that you can find, and they wrote about the types of jinns and the kinds, and where they live, and what they prefer, and their criteria, their characteristics, what do they like to do with humans, and so on and so forth. Even according to the Arabs, King Solomon's temple was built by the help of jinns and ifrits, and especially ifrits. And it is said that the Queen of Sheba, who King Solomon fell in love with, her throne was in Sudan or Somalia, I don't remember. Sudan or Somalia, I think it was in modern day Sudan or Somalia. And he was in love with her, and because apparently she was very beautiful, and then he was able to control the demons and jinns and ifrits, and he asked them, who can help me bring her throne here overnight? And one of the ifrits said, me, I can do it. And I forgot his name, but he even has a name. And this is all according to the Arabic tradition. And this ifrit has a name, and he was so strong, and he could control the wind. And he told Solomon, I can bring you her throne, her throne, within the blink of an eye, he told him. And Solomon was like, all right, because Solomon was controlling these jinns and his ifrits using his seal of Solomon. And he ordered him to do so, and he did it, and that ifrit did it. And he brought the Queen of Sheba all the way from Africa to Jerusalem, just like that, within the blink of an eye. The throne was there. And also, according to the Arabic tradition, even the Queen of Sheba herself, her legs were actually hoofs, so she could herself be an ifrit. Wrap your head around that. But these are amazing details that you have to dig in ancient books from the Arabian myths to find these kind of stories, because over the years and over the centuries, these stories have been changed, and many religions have adopted them and changed them, and just kind of like to make them sound more believable. But yeah, these beings used to exist on Earth, and they used to be very normal, just like when we look at animals and we look at dogs and cats and elephants, and we're not scared, and we're like, yeah, those are just animals. Back in the day, it used to be like that. You would look around you, and you will see ifrits and jinns and weird looking creatures, and they have intelligence, and they were normal, and you wouldn't be scared of them. I mean, people were scared of them, but you wouldn't be like frightened. You would just know that they exist. Just like if you're in the jungle and you look at a lion and you're like, shit, that lion is scary, I'm not gonna go there to him or to her, I'm gonna leave them alone, but you know that they exist. Why don't they exist anymore? Because maybe they just choose to keep it low key. Maybe they are controlling the world, maybe they're not. But for whatever reason, whatever happened in history was not beneficial to their advantage. It wasn't beneficial to their advantage because humans at some point, when humans get to a certain point of advancement, they just start destroying and consuming and just like messing up everything. And this wasn't beneficial for these jinns and ifrits, and they just decided to keep themselves low key. And they're still there, but they work behind the scenes. And I'm sure many famous people, many politicians, many, you even hear rumors about the lizard people. What do you think that is? you know, humans, once the unknown, what they fear, if they find what they fear, they just want to kill it. They want to get rid of it. That's the nature of humans. That's their nature. They want to get rid of whatever they don't understand. But since I was young, I knew the existence of these things, and I grew up with it, and it was part of my culture. But it's just very interesting.